Welcome to this episode of Recent Acquisitions. So this time around we're going to look at a couple items. First one is relating to the air compressor. So this is the regulator and pressure gauge and water separator that came with my air compressor 30 years ago. And this has been sitting like this for a long time. Actually, it was horizontal, which is not great, but it's actually leaking on the seal. And I decided to get a better solution for that. So we went on Amazon to see what they had. I hate the fact that Amazon is my first go-to place, but they're so damn convenient. In any case, let's take a look at what option I found that might do a better job of creating some clean, dry air. So I found this guy right here. And this is a multi-stage filter dryer cleaner. And I'm hoping to do a better job. It looks reasonably well made. So it has two filter stages with a water separation stage. And then the last two are both desiccant stages that use these beads that came with it. And they're indicating beads. So once they fill up, I think they turn pink. And then all you have to do is put them in the oven for a certain amount of time at a certain temperature, and you can dry them right out again and use them again. So this kit came with everything you need, which is pretty handy. It's got a pressure gauge, which goes up to 240 psi or 16 or so bar. And I think spare filters, or maybe just the original filters. So this is a pretty fine filter, and this is a foam filter. I'm guessing it's first. Let's pop this guy out of here and take a look. This kit came with everything you need to hook it up if you're half-inch pipe in and out, which I am not, but they got regular compressor fittings with half-inch adapters. So I could just use this as an inline thing. That could work too. I want to remove the old regulator completely. This one's significantly beefier. So it came with a very fine filter and a foam filter. I'm not sure why the order is this way. It's kind of interesting. There's probably a reason for it. I just don't know what that is. This is a very fine filter. It's sort of porous media, but only slightly. It feels like a solid piece of plastic. And then they've got two drying stages where you fill this full of desiccant, each one of these, and you're good to go. And they've got draining valves on the bottom of these guys. At some point, the O-rings that seal these will have to be replaced, but hopefully that'll be many years out. And water level indicators on the front of each one of these, which is nice. And then pressure gauge screws in right here. In, out. To maintain high air flow through to the filter and regulating assembly that has half NPT in and out, they have special half NPT adapters. What I'm going to do is actually I'm going to use these high flow through. Cobalt makes these high flow through adapters. You notice the hole in the end here, the size of that? Compare that to a standard quarter air hose. So you notice it's high flow through. So I had to go and get special hose. This was just at Lowe's. This is 3/8 inner diameter. And if you look at the barb, it's the same sort of large diameter as these high flow through adapters. So to get from the compressor up to the regulator filter assembly, I'm going to use high flow through hose. Then it's going to neck down on the output, but at some later date, I have the option of going high flow through there. What I really wanted to do was take this half-inch bung off the end here and come out here, but I couldn't get that off, and I really am kind of nervous about taking a torch and heating the tank up so that I can get that bung out. And I would have liked to inspect the inside of the tank too, but that's going to be problematic. I've never actually emptied this tank, and heck, I haven't even drained it before, which is really problematic because the drain valve is a very hard to get to location. So we've come out of here with some, what is that, 3/8 pipe to a 3/8 valve, which is a high flow through valve. And so we can get a ton of air out here all the way up to the regulator, and then it'll neck down after that, which will allow for future expansion, was what I'm hoping for. I am going to put a quick release adapter on there because we want to be able to remove the compressor if need be, even though there's no regulator on it anymore. I could always put barb adapters on, or rather in and out adapters on the regulator assembly and use that externally. But for now, we're going to just run it this way. In spite of 2 trips to the hardware store and buying all these adapters, I still am missing one of the adapters I'd really like. You just can't seem to win, right? That's plumbing for you. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the hose go directly in. So we're gonna go hose to barb adapter on the input side, and that's gonna go to the hose, and the other side of the hose will be a quick connector from the barb, but I've got to get a female coupler, which I think I'm missing. Isn't that great? Oh, we can go this way. So out of one of these barbs into this quick coupler. As for attaching the barb to the hose and making sure it stays and doesn't leak, you've got the old-fashioned hose clamp like this, you're probably familiar with. These suck if you have to put any force on them, because the helical gear the worm will just strip right out of this and it'll quit working. Here's a better version with a nut built in that you can make quite tight. And I have two other styles here. This version, which you can make incredibly tight because they're massively robust. Got this kit on Amazon. These are all stainless. These are very robust, can get extremely tight. And the one I'm going to try and use, which is one step under this, is this guy right here. So this set, you crimp and squeeze this top part together and it tightens the thing, but you'd say, okay, it would just stretch out over time. It actually has little detents and they click lock into tighter positions. So you can get these extremely tight. And we're going to try this and see if it works. If it doesn't, I can always switch to another type. As for the Teflon tape, it came with this cheesy Teflon tape. I've used this that I bought from McMaster Carr, super heavy duty tape. It doesn't take as many wraps and seals better. It's thicker. When applying the Teflon tape, don't go over the edge like I used to do, because pieces of the Teflon can get into your delicate internals and end up having issues. So make sure you do not do that. So all I do to tighten this down is use these special pliers, which aren't so special. You can find these all over the place. There you go. And that is rock solid. And I'll show you again on the other end of this hose. Remember to put this guy on here. Let's see, did I get the wrong size? I did. Actually, that one. Okay, that's the right size right there. All right. That's a really good fit already. That would probably seal pretty darn well. And then this guy just comes right on here and you squeeze it. Let's see if I can do this on camera here. There we go. So we're going to take this guy, put it on here so that we can come out at an angle. Got to get 2 wrenches, tighten this up. This other one has sealant pre-put on it, so hopefully that'll work. This guy is going to go in here. Don't see these things set at right angles very often, but I think in this particular situation it's going to work out really well. Okay, that tightened up right away. Okie doke. So on the output side, this unit came with a relatively high flow-through unit right here, although this one might be better if I had a high flow-through adapter, which I don't have that either. Of course I don't. So this would have been nice on the output because it's high flow-through, and then anything after that, but we'll just do that as an upgrade in the future. This came with the unit, and that's 1/2-inch NPT to quick connect, industrial style quick connect, so I guess we're going to use that. Also going to put the pressure gauge on here. There is another port on the back of this guy. Has a set screw in it with some sealant. Also, each one of these sections separates. This screw goes all the way through and there's like hold-on plates, and I'm sure there's gaskets in here so you can daisy chain these units along, which is kind of interesting. Gonna need kind of a spanner to get in here to tighten this guy. And of course, it ends up being tight, not facing the right direction. I don't think I have any wrench. They should have come with a wrench to get in there. Look at that clearance. There's almost none to get a wrench in there. When I get these crappy wrenches for these assembling kits that you know, you get. This one came recently on a kit my wife ordered. I always save them because they're super thin sheet metal. They're not very strong, but they're really handy. And look at that, it fits well enough that I can tighten this to get this guy aiming the right direction. All right, well, I guess that's where it's staying. That is really tight. That'll be difficult to get off, if ever. Next up is to fill these desiccant chambers with desiccant without getting any down the center, so I've put some tape on there. I didn't see a fill level on this guy. Just in case that's my problem. Yep, that was my problem. All right. So don't fill it anything close to all the way up. Okay, I'm gonna leave that. Oh, I think 3 packets is really close. Let's see. I think if you get it just right, which means they gave you a lot of spare. Okay. Oh, easy. Okay. Just need to mount this where it's going to go, and we should be done. This is exciting. Or is it? In case you're wondering if these desiccant indicating pellets work, they're silica gel, I think. You can see they're already starting to change color. Even though I live in Southern California, it's a very humid day and I've got the fan blowing my direction. It's 92 out, but it's pretty darn humid, and these are already starting to change color. Pretty cool. All right, so here's the regulator side. Here's where the hose ends up. That's a gentle bend, but I'd like it to be gentler. I might actually put a 90 in there. We'll see. That goes into the regulator, through the 2 filters, through the 2 desiccant, where I can see these windows and easily replace these. And over here is a dual output. There is the high output, oh no, that's a regular output female connector going to a dual female output. One goes to this really long hose up here. You can see that's a 100-foot hose. And the other one goes to my air distribution system. You can see that plastic hose there. This system, my garage is so frickin' dense, it's ridiculous. But anyways, that's it. Hope you find this useful. Hope to see you next time.